So it's okay to want to assault people and even stab them with a knife over words.
Where them kicks at? Where them hands? Where them holes? Where them throws? You know what I'm saying? Cecil.
This is why I train in martial arts.
It's okay that if someone is saying something that makes people so mad that other people want to hit them, then the person who's speaking should morally realize that he's wrong and he's supposed to not say what he said just because people want to stab him or hit him.
So I want to talk about the incident where you got into an altercation.
It was one guy who walked up to me as I was doing a lecture and he was asking me questions. So I was answering his questions to the point of where he really had no pushback because I answered everything he said. So he ended and said, "You know what? I don't care. I don't give a." He said, "I just don't like you talking about black women. I ain't gonna stand for it."
Okay.
And so at that point, I said, "You know what? I got something to do. You have a nice day." And as I turned around, he apparently punched me in the back of the head. I was this close from being killed. There was about four rows of people behind me with a blade about this long, trying to inch closer to me to stab me. All over my words.
Wasn't that a little bit of a wake-up call? Like, maybe I'm really starting to piss people off. Is your opinion really worth dying for?
If I was just some clown and the things I was saying was just clowns, you think people would be trying to kill you? You speak in the kind of truth in the world, you will be faced with opposition.
Now, I was going to get real emotional, hyped up, and just get angry about this whole thing. But then I realized, first of all, that's going to make me look weird in some type of way. And let's face it, I'm not making a living off of YouTube right now. So I got to be mindful about how I present myself online. I mean, it is what it is. Second of all, it's going to make me look like I'm 100% behind every single individual thing that Tommy ever says. And I'm not. I'm not 100% behind anything that anyone ever says. So, well, I just say when people are right, they're right. But there is some truth to the warning, and this is even in the Bible, that a soft answer turns away wrath. A fool's mouth invites a beating, and not that I think Tommy's a fool. But there are people that are going to want to hurt you just because of what you say and how you're saying it. So, in that sense, the warning of watch what you say because it can get you hurt, that is good from a self-defense standpoint. And I have to say that because I even tell people that. The Taekwondo tenet of courtesy is there because you can't always roundhouse kick your way out of every single problem. Sometimes you can prevent problems from happening in the first place if you were just doggone it polite. If you were just, respectful, you would get a lot done, a lot more done. And if you have to give bad news, you could deliver it and it may be received better if you're not trying to belittle the person that you're talking to or rub their face into the mess that they've made. So, and that's something I do get to practice in my day job because when you're a software tester, if you have to deliver bad news to someone that their product or their code is not working, you do so politely, you do so respectfully. You use the Taekwondo tenet of courtesy. And you practice a bit of self-control on your own part, Taekwondo tenet of self-control. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you from the Bible and, from Judo, mutual welfare and benefit. That's what that is. But still, man, and it is still not correct to want to stab someone or punch them in the back of the head because you don't like their opinion on members of your ethnic group. Okay? That's not correct. The people who are doing that, I'm sorry, I disagree with you on that. Now, just me saying that, could that get me stabbed or punched in the back of the head or something? I don't know. I really doubt it. But you never know. You'll be like, oh, I'll get him too. But no, that's not correct. I'm sorry, you can't get me to agree on that. Now, I understand there's a lot of emotions and things around what Tommy says, and people are going to say, well, you should be defending black women, you should be protecting black women. No one, no group should be above being criticized. And with especially people who are internet personalities, if you don't like what they say, you can literally change the channel and they don't exist in your universe. But I'm going to say this. If you really want to know how you would feel about what happened, let's say I punched a guy in the face. It's one of these, if I met one of these YouTubers who online who's racist and he said black people have a low IQ or something like that. And so I punch him in the face because he says, oh, I try to hit him in the back of the head. Not even to where he can see it coming. He's turned his back and then I attack him. Okay. I bet you a lot of you would tell me I shouldn't do that. I will guarantee a lot of you, even if you don't like Tommy, you would tell me I shouldn't do something like that. Oh, I got an even better one. Let's say you are a black man. You are speaking to a predominantly white audience. And you are talking about the type of racism that African Americans face in the United States. And you give examples. You even have, cell phone footage, and you have studies and things like that. You have all this objective evidence that you feel bolsters your opinion. And you get into a discussion with someone and you're just like, hey, I'm just telling him the truth. And as soon as you turn your back, you're a black male, this person who is not black tries to punch you in the back of the head. Would you feel that was okay? When all you did was talk. You didn't even make any threats or anything. You didn't have any aggressive body language. You disagreed. And then this person tries to punch you in the back of the head. Would you feel that was okay? Of course you wouldn't. Would you feel it was okay if one of the people in the crowd, who was not a black person, tried to stab you because of what you said? Would you feel that that was okay? Of course you wouldn't. Let's go an even step deeper. Because I can't use a male example because we are culturally conditioned not to feel sorry for men. Let's say Michelle Obama was speaking to a group of white nationalists, and she told them that their white nationalist views were wrong because we're all Americans. And they disagreed with what she said. And she said that, even though her husband got into the White House, she knows that African Americans still face discrimination on a daily basis. Okay. And she got into a discussion with a white nationalist after her lecture. He disagreed with her. And then he said, you know what? I don't care what you say. I don't like for you to talk bad about my race. And she said, okay, sir, have a nice day. She turns around. He tries to punch her in the back of the head. Would you think it would be okay for him to punch Michelle Obama in the back of the head? Of course you would. Would you think it would be okay for one of the other nationalists in the crowd to want to stab Michelle Obama in the back? Of course you wouldn't. You wouldn't think that was wrong. Now, of course, some of you are going to be offended because I went from comparing Tommy to regular black guys and then Tommy to someone who's really accomplished something, Michelle Obama. But you're missing my point, and you probably just hate Tommy, so you just can't see what I'm saying. My point is, none of us deserve to be attacked or even stabbed. That would really be attempted murder if the person stabbed them, and if the Tommy died, that would be murder. We do not deserve to be murdered or assaulted just because we say something that someone does not like, just on the strength of words, especially people that can be ignored. And we're all adults here. So, since this is a martial arts channel and I have my catchphrase, this is why I train in martial arts. One, if you feel like you're going to be telling the truth to the world, you're going to have to know how to defend yourself. And that's one thing that I can't say Tommy does. I mean, he's got like guns and stuff, but he probably didn't have the gun with him where he was. So that's why if you're in a situation like that, you need some martial arts training. So that if something's coming at the back of your head, you can go like this, you can slip it. And that's a drill that I do with my students from time to time. If you're a student of mine and you haven't had me do that with you, it's because you're not ready. We're not going to get to the more advanced stuff if you still can't remember how to do the first one. So a lot of you martial artists out there, especially, this is really more like beginners. Why didn't my teacher do this? Why don't we do that? Why didn't we get to that? Because you weren't ready. And you're not ready. So when you are ready, we can get to something like that. It'd be just like if your parents were talking to you They're not going to teach you how to cook on the stove if you can't remember to tie your shoe. Okay? You got to learn this before you learn that, before you learn that, and that. Okay? And either that or you may just be in something that's completely sport focused, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in a sport, you're not supposed to hit anybody in the back of the head. So if you're a sport oriented focus, why would you cover that? But that's one reason why I cover that. Because I know sometimes you just don't see it coming. You just don't see it coming. Right? You've been in a situation, you just don't see it coming. You feel it coming. So you got to train to block what you can see. You got to train to slip and weave from what you see. And then you got to train to just move away from pain. Right?
See the unknown.
What do you say?
See the unknown.
Right. Well, it's not even seeing the unknown. You don't even have a chance to see. You just got to move because you know it's pain. Move away from the pain, and then you can assess the situation if you get a chance to do that. You might have to move away from the pain and just start moving. Because I know this happened to me a couple of times. Something happens, I'm moving, and then it's like, oh, they was just playing. Oh, my bad. Oh, dang. Oh. I remember one time somebody came up behind me way back in the day, and I just went into down block because I had practiced it a billion times. So I turned around, do a deer. When I went down like this, I grabbed him by the back of the coat, and he was down. And so that was me doing my chamber down block, and I was getting ready to go in for the reflex punch. But then I looked at the body language, like, doesn't look aggressive. And I looked and I realized it was somebody just playing with people. He was trying to see how many people that he knew actually could react to an unsuspecting attack. He was actually trying to help us because he grew up in a neighborhood where people came at you all the time, and he knew that most of us were prey that he knew. And he was right because everybody else, he was like, you're the only person that reacted. Watch this. And everybody else he grabbed froze. Now, the reason why I'm going off on this tangent is if you would listen to the way that they would talk back then and the way that I talked back then, because I was really more introverted than I am now, you would have put more money on them in a real altercation than me. But I think I actually had more violence experience. So there was a part of me that could move into the instinct and then we come later. So even though you don't want to necessarily make your students have violence experience, that super duper repetition, I'm gonna make a video about that. That can get into the subconscious so that can be a counter to people that have more violence experience. So anyway, if you're going to be speaking your truth, you're going to have to know how to protect yourself. Okay? One of the ways you're going to have to know how to protect yourself is going away from the pain. Like the guy managed to stab Tommy, there's not necessarily a drill I can do for that unless I just poke you with my finger or poke you with something sharp and make you practice getting away from that. But then, as soon as I thought about doing that, I went to Dwayne, one of Dwayne's classes, Dwayne Harper's classes for pressure points, and there was a guy there that works with prisoners. And I asked him about, how can you deal with that super shank thing? They call it a sewing machine attack. And they're like, that's why they do it, because it's not really a way you can truly really deal with that, except you don't let them get their hands on you. But he explained the technique. He's like, it's not the stabbing you have to avoid. You have to avoid that first grab. When they get that first grab on you, they do that to hold you in place, and then they come in with this. So he said, if anything, if you just stay away from them first. But if you can't, just stay away from them. And he did like Akijitsu and all this other stuff too. And he's like, I just stay away from them. I avoid it. If I ever felt anything like that, I knock it off and I make space and just escape. You don't try to engage with that. But that's why they made that technique. So they grab you and they hold you. Then they come in there like this. And what are you going to do? You're going to block this a million times? Now, and I'm not bragging, I know I can do that. But still, even if I did that, I'm probably going to get poked or cut a couple of times. And, and even if I did that, or if I did it hard enough the first time, I actually hurt his hand and came up. What if it's more than one of them? So self-defense stuff is really like a chess match. It's beyond your punch, kick, throw, pin, joint lock, pressure points. But you need your punch, kick, throw, pin, joint locks, pressure points, energy, awareness. You still need that so you can handle the physical part if you just have to. But if you go in there looking for the physical part, you're probably going to die because they got more violence experience than you. What you want to do, and like I said, the friend of mine that grabbed me from the back, I think he actually had more violence experience than me, but I caught him off guard and I got him in a weaker position. So he couldn't rely on his violence experience. He made an error because he assumed that I had no violence experience. So when I did something unexpected, they weren't prepared for that ante. It's like how criminals look for weaker targets. And even if they could probably take you, especially if they got a knife or they got the ice pick thing, even if you square off and go toe to toe and try to go like a sports match, they may get the better of you. I know if I were a criminal, why would I do that? I don't want to deal with all that. I want to move on to somebody that's going to be easy for me. I don't want to get hurt. Okay? I killed this person, but they still ripped my eye out or something like that. But I won. No, they don't want that. They want to have the least amount of difficulty possible. But anyway, let me end this video because it's getting long. It's the ethic that you need to change your tone of what you're saying because people want to hit you. No. You need to watch what you say and how you say it because people may want to hit you. But if your message is really that important, if you really need to deliver what you're saying, and we can debate whether or not what Tommy in particular is saying is important, needs to be delivered. But really though, you can't go through the world afraid to talk because you're afraid that somebody's going to try to kill you. Because in that way, all evil has to do is just threaten you, and then good never comes up. Remember that man who gave up his life so that a lot of us could live, and a lot of us pray to his image every Sunday. What if he took that approach? Where would a lot of us be at? So thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this with people that talk about the martial arts. And peace. And please stop trying to kill people just because you disagree with them.